Craig Jones is really mad at the UFC.
Fuck the UFC.
He took that out on Dana White, or at least a picture of Dana White today, ahead of the UFC BJJ finale. I really want to be on Craig Jones' side on this. I really think he's been a great positive influence for the sport. I am a big fan. Truly, I want to be on his side. I just can't 100% agree with him on this. And unfortunately, this Craig Jones versus the UFC thing requires some nuance and multiple things to be true at a time, which the internet tends to hate, so please just stick with me as we talk through this whole thing. The reason we're talking about this right now, instead of diving right into the results and the highlights from the UFC BJJ 1 finale, is because today Craig Jones posted a video of him shooting a picture of Dana White that I already showed you, and I'm showing you again now. And he said this sarcastically:
But I hope the finale goes off with a bang today, and all you guys tune in to watch my ideas.
Dana White is a majorly flawed human being, and I've talked in the past about some of the issues with the UFC and some changes that I would like them to make. So I would love for Craig to occupy the moral high ground here. I just don't think in this case either party actually does. Did the UFC only do a pit-style event after seeing the success of the Craig Jones Invitational? Yes. Did Craig Jones only do a pit-style event after himself competing at Karate Combat? Also yes. And the next CJI is going to be a teams event, just like Quintet has done for years. Did the UFC decide to do 3 rounds of 5 minutes each and a 10-point must scoring system for their jiu-jitsu event? Yes. Did Craig Jones borrow that format from MMA and arguably the largest MMA company in the world, the UFC? Also yes. Did the UFC have athletes and personnel sign exclusive contracts that says they can't work for or compete for rival organizations? I don't know. Craig says that's what's happening, but multiple athletes have said the contracts are non-exclusive with the UFC, so I don't know here. I've not seen the contracts, so I can't tell you. Look, I think the UFC getting involved in jiu-jitsu and investing heavily in it is a great thing for the sport of jiu-jitsu, and I'm happy to see that. And yes, did the UFC lift the entire format from CJI and pull a lot of ideas from Craig Jones himself? Absolutely, it's undeniable. But Craig kind of did the same thing. The concepts and the aspects of the CJI that we all like, they did exist before Craig Jones did them. Craig Jones did not invent the 10-point must scoring system. He did not invent grappling in a pit. He put them all together. He made a great event, and the UFC just straight up copied that event. So I get why Craig's upset. I would be upset too if my exact format was stolen by the UFC. However, Craig did not invent every single aspect of that format. So again, gray area. Multiple things can be true at the same time, and I'm going to choose to be on Craig Jones' side as opposed to the multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation, because, capitalism. But I'm going to choose to be on Craig's side, but I do think there is some nuance. There is some gray area, but let me know what you think in the comments. Is Craig right to be this mad? Did the UFC steal everything? Did Craig borrow ideas? What do you think in the comments? Let me know what you think. Now, with all of that being said, let's get on to the actual UFC BJJ 1 event and the finale from the show that we've watched for the last 8 days. The commentary was not great, and there was a funny moment early on when they accidentally said the word pit instead of the word bowl, which they were, I guess, supposed to say instead, and then they had to correct themselves, and I've cut the audio out so that I don't get a copyright strike, but that was a funny start. It was fun to see Bella Mir have a really good match and have her dad Frank Mir in the corner. I've always been a fan of Frank Mir as a fighter, so that was fun to see. Keith Krikorian remains a very fun grappler to watch and a killer. But we've got to talk about 3 title fights tonight, so let's get right into it. Leading off with the lightweight title match between Danilo Moreira and Carlos Enrique. Danilo was working to isolate a leg, but Carlos countered with an armbar and actually finished the armbar with Danilo's leg still tangled up. It was such a weird and cool position. Imagine showing this picture to someone who doesn't do jiu-jitsu and asking them what they think is going on. Weird finish, cool match, good for Carlos. For the welterweight title, it was Andy Varela versus Andrew Tackett, and it was a fun match while it lasted, but Tackett controlled the match, he got the back, and he had the choke on lightning quick, forcing the tap. I don't think there were many people who did not think Andrew Tackett was going to win this whole thing coming into the start of the tournament, and he showed tonight why that was the case. It was a very good win for him, a very good tournament for him, and he is the official welterweight champion. Just a quick aside, I don't know who designed these title belts, but they certainly made some choices. It was now on to the main event, and I will tell you what, Harrison is a tough. Round 1, Mikey was relentlessly attacking, and I thought he had Harrison dead to rights a few times, but Harrison looked calm and defended, but it was definitely a 10-8 round for Mikey. On to round 2, Mikey was back to attacking the legs a lot, and it seemed like that was making Harrison reluctant to commit to pressure when he had the few opportunities come up on top. Probably another 10-8 round for Mikey. Round 3, Mikey again gets a good bite on the leg. Harrison does everything he can to roll and escape, but the walls keep him in, and he eventually has to tap. As expected, Mikey is the inaugural UFC BJJ Bantamweight champion. I did gain a lot of respect for Harrison. I did like what I saw from him on this show. I still think he was a bit of an odd selection as a coach, but you know, all in all, I think the show was great. The finale was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see that they announced more events coming up. They have not announced any matches for these upcoming events, so we'll see which titles and divisions they're going to add and who's going to be on these cards, and how this feud with Craig Jones and the CJI is going to play out. I do not know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did you enjoy UFC BJJ, the YouTube show, the road to the title, the finale, all of that? What did you think? Let me know. But so ends UFC BJJ for now. I have loved making these videos and watching the show with you, so thank you so much to everyone who's tuned into these videos. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.